It is day number 66 of vlogging for 20 minutes a day for 365 days. No filters, no edits, whatever happens, happens. And man, I was just going through some photos of just like life, like Alex and I, Everly, Paco, when we first got him, just all that stuff. It feels like we've lived like 4 different lives already in the last 8 years. And it's kind of like every 2 years, it seems as if like something has drastically changed, you know? It's like we're going through these 2-year cycles of just like life changing, and not necessarily like our lifestyle changing, but like just our life either upgrading or something massive coming into it, which is kind of wild. And Everly's 2.5 now, so something's about to happen. A switch is about to go off, like a change is about to happen. I don't know if that's because like maybe my knee was one of the things that's a changer, a game changer. I don't know, but it's going to be something big real soon. And so I'll explain what I mean by that. But first, I'm Frankie. If you're new here, this is my puppy Paco. We actually have a charity going on where we got him, and we're supporting the Humane Society there. We're trying to raise about $1,000 for this Humane Society. So if you guys have it in you to donate, thank you so much. We've had 2 donations other than myself so far. So let's get on it, guys. I know a lot of people have been asking about when it was going to happen. It's up. It's ready to go. Now it's just time for you to donate. And I know you could do it. I know we could easily reach $1,000. So, Paco, I love you. Can I have a kiss before you leave? No? Oh, that was so mean. That was so mean. He's going to grandma right now. So right now I'm at my in-laws' house, and I'm staying in the upper bedroom because it's been 2 weeks since I had my ACL surgery. And like I got some pretty good movement happening with the leg here, and I'm getting stronger. My knee today definitely hurts inside a little bit, just because I actually went out and did some movement, and I did a little bit of walking on it with the crutches, obviously. I did a very little bit light walking without the crutches in here. I had them on me just in case I like needed them immediately, but no pressure on the crutches, and I was able to move. I had my straight brace on, so that way nothing would happen to the knee. It felt all good, but I think it tired the knee out. Like it made a little bit more inflammation or something along those lines. But I feel pretty good overall. 2 weeks post-op or 13 days post-op, and is it? I don't even know. Is it Friday today? Yeah, so it's been 2 weeks. These videos come out 2 days after. And yeah, so let me get back into what I was talking about. Like every 2 years, things change. So Alex and I met, and about a year after we met, we decided to get on the road. So in 2018, we decided that we wanted to get on the road. By 2019, the end of 2019, we built a van and we started traveling on the road from Brooklyn, New York. And the first goal was to snowboard all the mountains that we could that were on the Epic and Icon season passes. So it was about 73 mountains, I think, total. Or 82 mountains total that it was going to be. I wound up snowboarding 71 of those mountains because it was obviously the year of the pandemic in 1920. And so it shut down all the mountains. But when we were doing that, we were on this wild adventure, chasing mountains, snowboarding, being able to sleep and park in their parking lots. And since then, that time has changed. Like, you can't really do that as much anymore at a lot of these resorts. Granted, you still can at a fair amount of them, but there's a lot that is definitely off limits. And it's changed since that time. And so during that time, Alex and I were traveling, and we knew that on her bucket list, because my bucket list was to snowboard all these mountains, but her bucket list was to travel the whole entire coast of North America into Central America, do the Pan American Highway, to Panama at least. Granted, South America was probably part of that list, potentially, but we always knew that we could make it to Panama, and then money logistics would come into play in the sense of shipping the vehicle. And we just didn't know if we had that in us, in the sense of shipping the vehicle for the value that we would have had to put into it compared to what we were getting back out of it, in the sense of making YouTube videos and content, because that became our full-time careers in that first year. And what's wild is then when we got to Panama, before we went to Panama, we sold our first van because the van was a little rough around the edges and it needed a new head gasket. And we knew that, and we put it in the information when we were trying to sell it that it needed a new head gasket. And we figured that if we needed the money, we could sell the rig as a place to live, and you just have to fix the engine and you'll be good to go for a while with it. And so somebody bought it, and that gave us enough money to put a down payment on a new vehicle and also utilize some of the money towards building a van. And at the time, there was a bunch of sponsorships and stuff reaching out to us that wanted to put their products in our van, making it much cheaper for us to build it. So that was a huge perk in the sense of making these videos for a living, is that companies were reaching out to us as a sponsorship or brand deal. We would have to work to make the content to receive the product. And a few of them were paid, but a lot of them were product for video at first. Because that's how it typically goes, is when you're getting into the space, sometimes you'll have to do product for content, depending on like the value of that product. Now, not everybody does that. Some people charge immediately, and I totally understand that you could do that, but we didn't know that at the time. So that evolved as well. But when that happened, we bought the second van, we built it out, and we knew that we wanted to go all the way up to Alaska and start traveling. But during the time in the first van, when COVID happened, we actually got Paco in Brookings, Oregon, and which I told the story the other day on here about how he saved our lives. But you could also read the story on the GoFundMe as well if you're interested to know exactly what happened when we adopted Paco. I wrote it in the description. So you understand why this charity is so near and dear to us. Now, what's kind of crazy is at that point, we now have a dog. We're thinking about how we're going to get to Alaska. We finish our van, and within 3 days' time, we book it to Utah because we wanted to go to this event. And it was our second van life event that we were going to. And this one was more to like try to get our brand name out there in the sense of we make YouTube videos. This is who we are. This is the van we built. We hope you enjoy it. Enjoy the videos type of thing. And we also were selling a book at the time. So we still sell that book, by the way. I'll put that in the show notes as well. But at the time when that was happening, we didn't realize how much our lives were going to change. And so we were traveling with a couple called the New State Nomads for a little while in northern Washington, and COVID was still an issue when it came to international travel, when it came to crossing the border into Canada. And so they were going to Alaska, and we wanted to go to Alaska. And so we got a contract to be able to make videos for a living, or make videos, content for tourism up there, which was actually a contract. But the border didn't respect that. They didn't believe that it was real. So they decided, you know what? No, we're not going to accept this. And we were like, oh shit, this sucks. How are we going to make it to Alaska? And so we're like, I guess the only other option we have is to ship our van there and fly in. And so Alex called a shipping company, which was called Tote Maritime, and Tote's amazing. Thank you guys so much. Long story short, she calls up the place, and they give us their rates. And she happens to go, well, could you by any chance put me in touch with your marketing department, because we make YouTube videos for a living, and so we would like to potentially be able to work out a deal where we can make a video for the company. And the guy goes, that's crazy, because we're literally looking for YouTubers. And so he put in a good word for us. We gave him our channel. They contacted us back immediately, and they were like, we're on board. We'll ship your rig to Alaska as long as you make a dedicated video. So this is the value of about like $5,000 or so. So we were like, not a problem. We'll make the YouTube video. We're looking forward to it. We met the people there. They were super cool. Everybody, they used to give like a ticket, like a lottery ticket to like a lucky winner, and you'd be able to ride on the boat up there as well with your rig and stuff. But unfortunately, because of COVID at the time, they stopped doing that. And so we couldn't get on the boat because of the situation at hand. So we had to fly in, which was all good. So we flew in with Paco. We flew in, and it was the summer solstice, and we had the longest day of the year. And Alaska, which was incredible because we got to enjoy the land of the midnight sun, and the sun didn't set till about 1:30 in the morning, and it barely set. Like there was just a blue hue, like when it's dusk and you just got that blue hue happening. That's what was happening. It was incredible. Speaking of, we have a beautiful sunset right now. Look at this. That night I woke up to letting Paco out to use the bathroom at about 3:00 in the morning. Still that blue hue was out. And of course there was like a moose standing in the distance. What a wonderful way to start our time in Alaska. We had an incredible time. And actually Alex also wrote a book about that. So if you're interested in that book, I'll link it also in the description below. And it's like a tailored guide on exactly where we went, what we did. There's even coordinates on where to stay and stuff in the book. Super dope place. We also have made YouTube videos on our other channel on FNA Life about Alaska. We have a whole Alaska series. We have a big long video, which is like 3+ hours long. And then we have shorter videos that are, each video in a row. The big video is a compilation of all of them. And the short videos are like 20, 30 minutes max. And those ones are like individual trips throughout our time. So if you enjoy that series, we have everything locked in a book too as well, that if you enjoy reading, that's a great way to do it. So also, Alex has authored a few books during this period, and that's kind of wild too, because when you think about it, like to be an author, a video editor, a creator, like she is the ultimate creator. And we don't give her flowers enough, not just me, but like everybody else out there. Like the amount of stuff she does is incredible. If not for her, none of this is real, because she's also the planner, So yeah, I mean, I bring a lot to the table, but like building and all this stuff. But if I don't have somebody like her to plan things, then none of this happens. So let's give Alex her flowers. In the comments, just say, Alex, you're amazing. Thank you for everything you do. And thank you for the entertainment. So yeah, as we move on, at that point in time, at a certain point in time, we had a call from I think it was CNN Brazil is what it was. And they wanted to interview us and for us to be on this like van life special. It was like a TV show. It was basically, they called this guy like the Anthony Bourdain of Brazil. And so we went and we met him. He was a very nice guy and everything. And we shot a bunch of stuff, and they actually butchered our names in the like the stuff. So the promotion didn't really go as well for us than what we thought. So, but we left Alaska for this. And in Alaska was crazy. We were kayaking through icebergs. We were getting 4-wheeling adventures with locals that were just like absolutely free, just from being kind and them being kind to us. Yeah, Alaska was wild. Seeing bears everywhere, riding to waterfalls, like just camping on these wild glacier beaches. And yeah, it was just an insane experience. It was a little bit cooler. We had a warm summer for us up there, which was great, but it was cooler than like a typical summer that you'd have. But when that time rolled around, we left. And when we left, we were definitely missing Alaska at the time, but we knew that brighter futures, brighter things were coming ahead. And so we wound up actually painting our van. And during the time right before we were painting our van, we got married as well. And right before that, we got a call from a company because we also have a podcast. It's crazy the amount of stuff we do, guys. But the podcast was like, we were one of the only van life podcasts out there, and we were doing a lot of creating at the time. For the podcast, we would put out one a week, and we were on top of it. And so the podcast was growing. A lot of people would recognize us from the podcast, at least like when they would click over to the videos, they would be like, oh, I can't believe that you match, your face doesn't match your voice or whatever, And so like every once in a while, people would be like, oh my God, I listen to your podcast. I love it. And so it was so cool to hear that. And people would come along to the Patreon and stuff along those lines from the podcast. Love doing the podcast. We just don't have time for it right now. So I'm putting these daily videos up there as well. They're way backlogged right now, but it's still cool that I could put something on there for people to listen to these instead of visually watch them. So after that time went by, the podcast, where I was going with that is the podcast led us to get this gig that was paying like $5,000 basically for the both of us to be models for this podcast equipment. And sure enough, we did the gig, and it was a highest paying gig. And so they gave us the equipment as well. And the equipment was probably like $1,500 worth of equipment. And Forecaster was awesome, and we still use it to this day whenever we do podcasts and stuff. Love their equipment, love their setup, and it just felt like we were models in something. And friends asked us what equipment we use because they liked our quality of sound, and we told them, and so they bought one, and it got shipped to them, and they opened up the box, and sure enough, my face is inside of it. So it's wild to like think like, oh, the branding is in there. And so they paid $5,000 for the likeness of that branding, you know? And then after there, we decided we were going to go to Mexico and Central America. And we went on to Mexico and Central America after traveling the coast and a couple other places and meeting up with friends along the way. And we went through Mexico and Central America, having quite an incredible time. And Paco went to all these, I thought he was still right there. Paco went to all these places with us. This dog has been to over 10 countries. Yeah, it's crazy to think, because most dogs barely leave their state. They barely leave their town, you know? So that dog has been everywhere. He's super socialized, and he was so scared of big dogs, and he was so scared of men when we first got him that, like, honestly, I don't even recognize the dog he is today compared to that dog. Like, completely 360 or 180 compared to what he was. And he was our only little buddy that we had. And we went through Guatemala with him, El Salvador. He got sick in Guatemala, and we had to take care of him in Guatemala. It was the only time he's been sick, really. Otherwise, he's been super healthy throughout his whole life, with us at least. And I remember just being worried about him and stuff. But we parked in the most beautiful place when we were with him. Basically, what happened was he ate something that gave him like a little inflammation in his intestines, and so long and behold, he just needed some IV to like hold some fluids down and get that stomach liner to like chill out. He did lose some weight, put it right back on once he was healthy. But we made it all the way to Panama, and in Panama, Alex got pregnant with Everly. And so life changed in that moment. A switch happened again, right? So 2 years goes by living in this van that we absolutely loved, Olive. She was beautiful, such an amazing van. We even have like layout plans for that if you're interested. The crazy thing is like we drove it back up, and at the time, whenever we travel to a new country, it's very hard to get brand deals. So it's really hard for us to like continue to make money on the road at the amount that we need to make to sustain life, right? So we make a decent amount of money on YouTube itself from ad revenue, but not nearly as much as if the brand deals weren't there. So that's why they're so important to the videos, these brand deals. And we always do try to pick stuff that aligns with us, so that way we're always selling a good product. But the fact of the matter is that when we got north, we realized, okay, maybe we need to sell this van. We didn't think about renting it at the point, which we probably could have, but we need to sell this van so that way we could get something else that's a lot cheaper, that's a home that we can make it back to Canada. So we sold that van, and we bought the 1985 Toyota Sunraider that wound up being a little bit of a money hole, but also at the same time, we made most of our money back from that rig. We didn't make all of it back. I would say after like all the videos and stuff, maybe we came really close to breaking even. But like, it was an awesome rig. I learned so much from it by putting in a new engine. We did a bunch of trips in it. It was the nostalgia of it was really cool. I missed that rig actually, which is kind of crazy because I didn't think I would ever miss that rig, and I miss it today. But it's with somebody in California that bought it. From what I know, it was still on the road doing well. It did get into a little fender bender sitting on the side of the road, but we sold that, and now we have 2 trailers, and Everly is 2.5 now, and we just got done with a little trip in Spain doing Portugal and Spain, which those videos are still coming out on F&A Life. But what's so cool is to be able to like go back and look at that stuff. And that's why I love the fact that we take these videos and we take these pictures. And like, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't forget to stop and take a video of where you were. It's just like a little moment in time that you get to capture that you could like reminisce back to. And that's what I think is so cool about technology today, that we could actually go back and look at these things. And if we didn't make the videos about it, I don't know how much I would go back and look. I don't know how much I would like, I just like, even the edited videos, it really gives us a full experience of what was kind of happening in that moment, in that time. So it's just really cool. I love that. But it's been 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you tomorrow.